the end of my last video, you'll have seen me with some Royal Enfield Interceptor shocks on here. They have the sort of gold coloured can, look a bit Olin style, but they were too long. I'd misread the original information I got. These were off an Interceptor, and I really should have been looking for ones off a 500 Classic Royal Enfield, it turns out, which are about the right length and have the right mountings. Having thought about it a bit more, I've actually gone against having shocks that have the external sort of pressure cans on. Reason being, it's going to be more of a retro desert sled than a resto mod desert sled, so to speak. So I think I want to have more original looking shock absorbers. As you know, it's a T140V. I've imported it back from America. I've got it registered. I really want to get riding it, and I've had a bit of a delay along the way, and the shocks were a bit of a showstopper at the time because I want to get a rolling chassis so I can sit in the sun, if it is sunny, outside and go a bit brum brum, see if I really can get fired up to get on with this. I have come up with what I think is a better solution for me with the shocks. I got the shocks that came with it, which probably could be reconditioned, and I've only loosely put them in. They haven't got the bushings in, which is a bit dodgy, and you certainly couldn't ride it like that, but I just wanted to hold it in place. And that is really the kind of look I think I do want to end up with as well. So what did I buy? Well, let me show you. I've gone with some authentic classic range Girling shocks, and they look virtually exactly the same as these. One of the big benefits that I got though was you can get different spring rates. You can get £100, which I think is the standard, or 110. You can get 126, and I've got these ones because I'm a big lad. These are 145. I will put a link to these in the description. Now, these fit lots and lots of different old style British bikes that have shocks of this length, and they come with lots of different adapters for the bushings so that they'll fit. So I'm going to sort out which ones I need for this bike, get them on with some nice new hardware, so at least I'll have the back end of the bike suspended. What I'll do is I'll swap this one over here to hold it in place, and then I'll sort out one of the shocks and which mounts to use over here so we can see what's going on. I'll just pop these on the bench so we can have a proper look at them, shall I? There's a really good breakdown of all the parts you should have and some fitment guiding. There's lots of different bushes of different sizes. There are some plastic ones that are also for it. A lovely little spanner, although I don't know how you'd get it to work on two of these at once, but I'm sure we can sort that out. It's got lots of adjustment. I think these look really good quality, and I'm really pleased that I'm buying Girling, which is a British sounding brand. I think most of the instructions are fairly sensible. I need to select the correct bushing sleeves to make sure which ones fit where, and then it tells you how to adjust it. So yeah, it's pretty good, this. I'm very pleased with them. While looking at the bushings, I noticed that this particular mount has been tweaked slightly so that this is bent that way a bit. It's not an uncommon thing with this kind of old bike. So what I'm going to do is just try and tweak it back by protecting the finish with a bit of paper. Seems a bit hopeful. And using a 12-inch adjustable. Now I suspect that might have done it. That looks a lot better than it did, and no doubt when I tighten up the suspension it'll pull it back in a little bit. In deciding what bushing, obviously I've got to get the right size bolt to go through, which is a 3/8 inch at the moment, and find a bushing for it. Now, if I just put that in, which just fills the gap in the actual top of the shock absorber, yes, it's fine, but I don't really want that. So what you've also got are these like top hats that are the same diameter as the inside of this, but they will fill a bit more of the space. And what I'll do is they will fit snugly into here, especially when I've got it in the actual shock absorber, so I can put the bolt through and know it's tight for the suspension. So I'm going to use these two. And the bottom one seems ideal as well. It does look like these bolts might be a bit long. It's probably better than being long than short. I can always cut the ends off, can't I? Having come to the conclusion that these are the ones that I'm going to use, and look at all the spares that are left besides. So what I'm going to do is just a quick squirt of some silicone lubricant just to make it a little easier to squeeze these in. And I've actually slipped in really easily. And let's do the ones at the other end. Another quick squirt. The beauty with the silicone is when it evaporates, or the carrier evaporates, at least it'll still have a little bit of lubricant in there for the future. So I'm just going to put a little bit of GT85 because it never hurts, and I no doubt might scratch off some of the coating. I'm going to go with the shock absorbers the standard way up, and with that showing to the back. Let's see. That's looking good. Does make you wonder if the alarm goes off when there's no one here to hear it. As you can see, I haven't got the hole quite lined up yet, but I'll stick something in there just to prise it up, and I'm sure it'll be fine. With a little off-camera finagling, we've now got it so it'll come all the way through. There we go. I'm not going to worry about it being too long at the moment, but what I will do, because I might cut this down and get some nice domed ones to fit on there, but I will put on washers on either side to protect the finish when I'm tightening the nuts and bolts up. And a nice nut. Now these are stainless, so what I'm going to do is get some allier slip just to put on here so they don't seize up when you're tightening them. That looks great. I'll have a think about adjusting it a minute, but first of all let me put that one on. And there they are, both on. Now I just need to adjust them. You can adjust the length of them by tightening this and slackening this, but there's only about 5mm that you can go. And to adjust the static sag, you really need to be sitting on the bike with the bike built up. So all I'm going to do for now is that one's fixed, so I'll just tighten the middle one against that lock nut, and then I'll tighten this one against the middle one. Obviously if you're taking up the preload, you'd wind these up and you'd lock that against there further up the thread, and I strongly recommend you keep a lot of lubrication on the inside of these, because if you use your bike in all weather they will corrode. It's just an unfortunate thing with suspension. Okay, let's look about getting the back wheel on now. Before wrestling with the back wheel, just make sure I've got the parts that are essential. I've got the axle, washers, nut on one side. It goes in from the sprocket side, with that at the sprocket side. Got chain adjusters, got the caps that go on the end of the swing arm. Now on the other side we've got the speedo, and although I'm not thinking of using the standard speedo, I am going to put this in because it's a little bit of a spacer as well. I may use it in the end, but I'm thinking I might use a GPS speedo. Got the chain adjuster on this side as well, and then you've got the hanger for the rear brake, so that goes in that way around, I do believe. So let's get all those bits ready and wrestle the wheel on. Always feels a bit of a wrestle putting the rear wheel on, and I haven't got it any better ever in the future because I've no mud guard to worry about, no chain guard, no chain, nothing. So I just need to put it in clean. I'm not overly worried at the moment, I just want it on and try it because I'm going to take it off again when I'm doing the brakes. So let's just get it on first. See how we go on. So far, so good. I probably should have put this on first. Let's see if I can find out. Yeah, I should. So let's take it off again. And it was going so well. Couple of tongues in there. There we go. Round two. Alright, so I've got it through to there so far. The next thing I need is this on. Make sure we got this in. That's looking good to me. I've put the end caps on and I'm tightening it as far forward as possible. I'm just going to nip this up so it holds it there, and I'll probably look and see if I can put the stay on for this as well before I do that. I won't obviously pull it further back out until I put a chain on, but once I've done that, I think that I'll be pretty much ready to look about having handlebars. The parts I've got here are basically the parts that came off the bike that I've cleaned up. If you look at some coming off, if you go back to all the videos, you'll see some of them looked pretty ropey, especially these ones. They clean up quite well. Now, obviously, I've not had them plated, so they're likely to be prone to rust quicker. What I have done is I've sprayed them with a wax oil type treatment that will keep them protected from rust for quite a while. And if I keep that up, and obviously it's a bike I'm not going to use a lot in winter or any time when there's salt or anything, if I keep that up and keep refreshing it every year or so, these will stay just as they are. And having sprayed wax on the bits where the threads are as well, I'll use anti-seize where necessary. It'll, you know, they'll last the life of the bike with me, if not into, you know, the next few decades. Most of them have been cleaned mainly with a wire wheel, but mostly with one of those 3M mops that you can get on a bench grinder. If you haven't got a setup like this and you're restoring bits on old bikes, you're missing out, because this can make a big difference to how easy things are to clean. Now, before I start nailing all this together, I will go and check the parts list and not just rely on my memory for how things went together. The parts list isn't always right, but at least it's a good place to start. I'll just loosely put on this stay, because I am going to be fiddling with the brakes pretty soon. So that's the wrong way around. That goes on there like that. That goes up there, and this bit comes through. And there's a shoulder on it, and we just need to pop the nuts and bolts on. And now let's have a look at the handlebars. I'll just put the bike down to a lower level. That's as far as I'm going for now. It's pretty exciting once you've got it back on its own wheels and you've got handlebars and you can have a bit of a play and the odd brum 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 brum. I'll obviously either have to tighten or take apart and put together again the things I've put on, especially at the back where I need to sort the brakes out, which I might be having a look at next. But I'm thrilled with how this is coming together. It's looking like it'll be really good. So why not subscribe, follow along. I am going to get a few more videos out on this bike very soon, so I have quite a work plan for it, and I'll even be playing with the engine.